Oh, what's going on, guys? Episode 10
What's
of
up,
the Hip
bro?
Hop Orchestra Presents. What's going on, guys?
Yeah, man. How are you?
I'm good. In the house, we have the Horny Js, Jonny
Yes,
and
man.
Joe.
Absolutely.
Yes,
Can we
man.
Yeah,
just
boy.
before we continue? I just want to give a big shout out to Jasper Rose.
Oh, yes.
He's a trombone player. We don't just come as a two-piece. We have a three-piece.
We are a
He
triplet.
We are a triplet. Unfortunately, he
Yeah.
wasn't on the gig with us. But hopefully, just me plugging his name now, Georgio will go. Oh,
Yeah.
next gig we'll have a trombone player. So
Oh, that'd be sick. A shout out
just
to
so
him
he
as well,
doesn't
though.
feel left out when he's watching.
When he's
or
listening to
to
this,
Jasper. Yeah,
inevitably. Hi, Jasper.
Hi,
Hope
Jasper.
you're
of
well.
course.
Yeah.
How you guys doing?
Yeah, good, man. Really nice.
Good.
It's been like I'm still teaching at the moment, so I'm still going in and doing my kind of key worker kind of things. I'm driving into London and all that. So yeah, it's been hard kind of to take that toll, kind of like physically and mentally. But still got loads of music projects on the go as well, which is really cool.
Oh, brilliant. How are you finding the teaching stuff now? I'm still going to teach as well, but how are you finding it?
Oh, it's hard, man. It's
Hard,
hard,
isn't it?
Yeah, like I mean, the schools I teach at, two schools, and I'm like head of music at both, and basically we should have one school so about 500, about 500-600, and we have 7 children in.
Wow.
Wow.
And there's another one that should have about 750, and we have about 20 in. And some of them, like the nursery ones, like stuff like that. The younger ones, it's quite nice to be honest, because they don't really understand it, so it just goes over their head. Like, But for some of the older ones who understand it, and it's tough. But I just think my job is just to go in and, like I did supercalifragilisticexpialidocious on Friday. You just got to go in and give them a smile. But how are you finding it, mate? How are you finding it?
You know what? I'm finding it fine. I just love going in and helping out and teaching and obviously keeping the morale up. But like you, like I work in 2 schools as well. Both 400 or 500 kids in each school. But like you said, like you got between 9 and 11 kids on most days.
Yeah.
On a couple of other days, we have maybe 12 or 13, 15 at max.
Wow.
But it's mad, because obviously you got another school run. Obviously in the morning, it's mental in the morning. But now, literally, it's like a ghost town. You could park anywhere you want, and when you walk in, you've got like 1 or 2 kids just waiting around, and then everyone else comes in after. Wow. But luckily, the school I work in 2 schools like you. On Monday and Friday, I teach online using an online classroom. So I teach. I set the activities, give Zoom classes on that on Mondays and Fridays, and the other days I go in for half a day now, because obviously I can't do full days now. Yeah. But I just go in, do half days, do a couple of classes, maybe 3 at most, and then come home. But just to be able to help cheer the kids up and teach them through music and the rest of it is something I love doing, and it's just so helpful. But 1st of June now, in a couple of weeks, they're going to slowly bring them in, aren't they?
I mean, it's year 1, year 6. I mean, the thing that shocks me is that I found out yesterday that the council that you're in can now decide to change it. So,
oh really?
For example, like Liverpool are saying, no, we're just going to keep all the pupils there. So, I think it's going to be very interesting. Like, personally, I feel like reception year 1 is too early. They won't socially distance, but
they won't. Can't realize as well. Everyone knows that with the younger ones, like you just said, that it's almost basically it's impossible to actually social distance them. Yeah, like you said, like I said earlier, it literally just goes over their head. They don't understand that you got to keep your distance. And but I, as much as I love teaching and I love it, I do feel quite uncomfortable going back to work with when they're sleeping everyone back. Yeah, you've got 400 or 500 kids. How do you feel about that? Do you feel all right with that, or
what about them coming back?
Yeah, like everyone coming back in one big go. Well, not one big go, obviously, but
yeah, it's hard. I tell you what, the other day I had 4 children come back who it was their first time in the whole of the lockdown. They just came back, and their behaviour was so different because they've been at home for 6-7 weeks now. This is me and Johnny spoke the other day on the phone, and Johnny said to me, like, this is going to be their summer holidays now. And it's going to take a long time to get back into the routine and like mentally and stuff. But Johnny, I know you've been doing Zoom lessons and stuff as well.
Yeah, I mean, that's all I'm doing at the moment, really. In terms
how are you finding that? Zoom
lessons? Great. Do you know what? Like, it's been fine. I don't have as many piano. I teach piano to kids mainly. I do have some adult students as well. and a few of the families have said, you know what, like we're doing Zoom for school. We just want to maybe stop the piano lessons. We'll have them when you come back or when it's safety, whatever, which is fine. But it's been fine. I have like 2 camera angles. I put a camera angle on my hands on the piano so they can see that. That'll probably be on my computer, and then my iPad will just have my face. And so it's like 3 screens like this, 2 of them being me. And it's great because it means when I do chords or scales or whatever, the kids, they can see what I'm playing instead of me like just with my face just saying I'm playing C, E, G. Off you go, right? It's not, they can actually see what I'm playing, which is nice. So that took a bit of time. But I'm really lucky, like back up in Scotland, like we've our local church, we have a lot of mics and a lot of like equipment. So we just kind of call them up. We're like, hey, like, been a while since coronavirus, all that stuff. Since it's not being used, can we just grab a bunch of stuff? So we got some like mic stands, some new mics and things like that, just because we're recording and doing things. And then we bought this bad guy.
Started,
which was absolutely glorious. Yeah, but it's going well. The Zoom lessons, you know, the connection issues, you know, you get through them. Like you get through it. And, you know, the amount of times I've had to switch from like Zoom to FaceTime or Google Hangouts or something, like just because I don't know, it's connection issues, you know, you try and work out, but it's going quite well. Yeah.
Brilliant.
That is one thing I think that like, I think all musicians now have kind of upped their remote recording and like remote teaching style. I feel like when this is over, we're all going to have super HD, high quality, like 4K video, you know, ready to go. So
it's
true.
Think
about how many more albums and how many more tunes will be recorded from home. Like a lot of them are already. Like a lot of the people, like this isn't new for some people. Like I've been getting singing lessons since April of last year.
Oh wow!
And that's part of it was in London, and then my teacher, shout out to Leah, she's great. Moved back to New York. That's where she's from, and we've been doing Skype lessons since when she moved back, like September. So we've been doing that. So I was quite used to doing like Skype lessons, like once a week, once every 2 weeks, something like that. So she kind of had her format, and I kind of was able to kind of take some of that, which is quite nice.
That's brilliant.
But people, you know, this isn't new to a lot of people, but for the majority of us, like doing things like this, you know, recording from home and, you know, doing the recording and sending the video. And let's be honest, most of you are miming to the video because you've recorded it.
What, Johnny? The secret's out, mate.
Secret's out.
This is it.
I'm here to debunk all the myths. I'm here to tell you the truth.
HHO exclusive.
If you want to hear real truths, some of them might hurt. I'm not gonna lie, some of them will hurt. But the majority of the video recordings you will see, they're probably miming because they probably recorded it earlier.
Oh man.
Yep.
That's it.
Oh, damn.
I'm ruined.
Milli Vanilli up in the house.
But this is how it works now. This is how it works, you know.
Of course. You know what? As long as it sounds good, looks good, that's fine.
Yeah.
It's all lies from the start. Let's be honest.
All lies from the start. We're not really here in the first place.
No, I'm miming everything I'm saying right now.
Looks good. But you know what?
Amazing.
Talk about videos and all that, though. I tried editing a few bits for obviously the orchestra and for future reference. And I was saying in the podcast with the girls actually that how bloody hard editing is for videos.
Oh, yeah.
It's the worst. I can't do it.
I mean, I really enjoy it. I'll put that out there.
Yeah, 'cause I love it. You're good at it. You're brilliant at it. You both are. Me on the other hand, I was saying to obviously Nikki and Lisa and Kat. Shout out to them again, by the way. Amazing singers. I like trying to edit videos. Like I get really annoyed with when simple things don't work. So like trying to be a bit with the audio with the video to try and match them up, and then the whole thing won't flip and turn upside down and run out the window and like powerbomb someone through a table. And I'm trying to. This is the worst. How do you not find it editing videos?
It's tough. Like I take a lot of choirs as well, and we've been, you know, when it first came out of the lockdown, the whole kind of choral world was like, let's do virtual choirs. Yes, it was really big, and then that just got very saturated very quickly. And it is really, really hard, you know, to sync up with because I take a lot of kind of community choirs or youth choirs, things like that. People who aren't musicians as such, that isn't their main thing, is they're doing this for well-being or like, you know, just something that they enjoy. The two things I always say is whenever I send it out, the two things you have to get right is you have to sing in tune, or I'd be absolutely perfect, and sing dead in time. And if you get both of those right, which I've realized is a big ask, like that, it's really hard. It's super tough. The one project that, and the one tip I'd give if anything out there now is kind of separate the lines up. So I'm doing one with my schools at the moment, Somewhere Over the Rainbow, and I've given like a child each line, and that works so much better because you're only hearing one voice, and then it's a lot easier to edit because it's just one voice, one line, and then they all come together in the chorus, say, and then you just do the next verse. So that's the system that I'm kind of using now.
Oh, brilliant! Because saying that actually, because I was saying in the last episode where before lockdown, I was meant to perform at the Royal Albert Hall with my school, and amazing, and over I think 1,500 children and teachers, which would have been obviously out of this world and like a dream thing to do. Well, obviously, before like being a teacher and to help them sing and perform at the Royal Albert Hall, which is anyone's dream. Obviously locked down, but what the organisers of the event, shout out to Beat, by the way, Barnet Education Arts Trust, they're fantastic. What they're doing is like what you're doing basically is getting all the kids to send in just a line or one part of the song or the whole song itself, and they'll edit like a proper video of all the kids singing just one particular song. I think we were meant to sing off the top of my head, I think 9 or 10 songs, but they chose one song for every kid to sing, and they're going to edit the video afterwards. So I can't, if they're doing that, which they are doing right now, I can't wait to see what it looks like.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
The big one that I'm really interested is you might have seen, people who are into singing might have seen this, but there's a thing every day Gareth Malone does, who famously is the guy that looks a bit like me, people would say. And he's doing it with about, I'd say maybe 13,000, 15,000 voices. Yeah.
How's he doing that?
And that's he's linked to up with like Decca and Hal Leonard, like big time, like this is big scale. Called the Great British Home Chorus, if anyone wants to check it out, at 5 p.m. every day, like live stream.
Yeah.
But that's a big editing task. Like I don't know where you'd start.
I mean, 13,000 people, you said, doing that.
Yeah.
Wow.
And they've sent it in already. Like,
oh my!
They haven't released anything yet because I think it's going to take them, understandably, a long time.
Cool. If only there was some kind of automatic editing system where they can like link up audio and sound videos.
I mean, that's just called Jonny Yeoman. I mean,
Johnny, I'm going to use you now.
That's fine. It'll cost you.
Oh my god! I'll pay. But oh my god, man! Like 13,000 people. Like you said, where the hell do you start with that though?
Yeah.
Where do you start?
I guess you'd go. Yeah, you go into voice parts. You do like soprano, tenor, bass, and then, or maybe they're just doing male or female voices.
It'd be organization for sure.
Cool.
Yeah, yeah.
And
it is possible, and I think that the well-being and the, you know, when you get something and it does sound like pretty good, when you're doing it in these circumstances, I think that the kind of reach they're taking it out, the happiness that it gives people is insane. So
yeah, of course, definitely. Because I still obviously for everything that you guys are doing as well, obviously with Horny Js, obviously Jonny plays sax and piano, and Joe plays trumpet, and both amazing musicians, beyond amazing. And obviously you do, Joe does obviously that brass as well. Jonny does other projects, and the work that you guys put out, obviously on your separate projects and with the Hip Hop Orchestra it's amazing. And I see like the comments you lot get as well for both our projects and yours, and music in any shape or form just brings so much joy to people, doesn't it? It's amazing. And that's why we love putting content out and talking to people as well through the podcast, just to let people know exactly what's going on. And that is hard work, but we love what we do.
Yeah.
So what else are you working on?
Right. I think there's something about, I mean, music is now used for people with like dementia and stuff. Great video I saw. I don't even know what I typed into YouTube. It was probably something like "Man with Dementia sings to music for the first time" or something.
Oh, I think I've seen this video.
It's like this old man, cool. And he hears music from his era, like 30s, something like that, 20s, 30s, something. And he starts singing along, and they're saying that's the most kind of interaction he's had with anything for a while. So music's definitely got the power to, like, I say heal maybe, but like,
and it definitely does.
Yeah, 100%. Like
it does, because I saw that video a long time ago. This guy, I think he was in a wheelchair, wasn't he? And like you said, he had dementia, and he couldn't remember anything. If I remember, it's I was from a film. I didn't know saw a documentary. I've got the video here actually. I'll show it later. I'll leave the link below in the document afterwards. But yeah, that's why I get sad that in schools they don't think music is that important, and they cut a lot of arts out, the music, the arts, and it's a form of escapism as well at the same time, isn't it? And like you said, it helps with so many things, like social skills to dementia to creativity. And for people like me who has dyspraxia, like quite badly, I find things difficult, but music was my way of getting out of things. And I see a lot of being teacher, Joy's probably seen this as well, must have seen this as well, that you see people who might not be good at other subjects, but with music or any kind of the arts, they're fantastic. They're so creative, and they come out with amazing like melodies or rhythms or drawings or whatever it might be. And to think that they're cutting a lot of music out of schools and the arts, it breaks my heart.
Yeah, and because that's the grassroots level. Like a couple of years ago, when I first went into kind of being a musician, and you're starting out and you kind of need some teacher to kind of make rent and stuff like that. I started working for this company called Every Child a Musician, which are based in Newham, East London. And this is an incredible scheme. Like, genuinely, I said it when I was there, but genuinely one of the best, if not the best job I've ever had. Like, it's incredible because it was a social enterprise scheme, and they would give every child a free instrument and free music lessons. And they get to keep that instrument for the rest of their life.
How amazing is that? I remember I came across them a while back. They're fantastic.
This really sad thing is because they were teaching about 12,000. It was 12,000 students a week, and it was 1.5 million lessons a year they teach. But the awful thing is that pretty much this time last year, the council, they changed mayor. It's a Labour council, and it's Sir Robin Wales, who is like the oldest mayor in the country. He was, and he invented this scheme. And a new mayor came in, Rosanna, and she just said, "You know what? We've got to like put more money into infrastructure, like the roads and the bin collections." And the scheme cut. And there's I gave a speech in the town hall at East Ham, all about music and exactly what we're talking about now, how you need to have this grassroots level, because otherwise you're never going to get diversity into classical music, for example, stuff like that. And they'd argue back and say, oh well, we're going to build the LSO going to build like a thing on the Olympic Park and all this, but they won't. If you just take a child who's never picked up a violin before, they won't be able to go and play Bach, symphony, whatever. So
of course,
it's so disappointing, and it's so important.
And that's why, that's one of the big reasons why I started the Hip Hop Orchestra, because I wanted to change the kind of perceptions of both hip hop and classical. And when you take pieces that people might not always know, like maybe Schubert's Death in the Maiden, for instance, and flip that with like a hip hop beat, thinking, what is that? That's amazing. What is that? And vice versa. And get people that aren't into hip hop. And when you describe kind of the background, how it started and what it stood for, and the rest of it, and especially with classical music, how powerful and amazing it is, it's unreal. And to think that they're cutting it down in education now is so sad.
Yeah, you're just spot on. And I think the link with hip hop, I found that especially in Key Stage 2 and going up into secondary, if you combine, like I taught hip hop and did kind of stuff that I do with Dat Brass, because we've started to do stuff with Kinetica Blocco. So shout out to them. They're insane. They're a social enterprise, similar thing, who work in Lambeth and around London. They go to Notting Hill Carnival. They do an amazing trip we just did in New Orleans. And that's to 13 to 18-year-olds. So glad that things like that still exist. But there needs to be funding from the government. They've talked about it, they've lobbied it. We did so much when every China musician was going. We had Nicola Bernadetti.
Wow.
You know, really pushing it in Parliament. But I mean, now with COVID-19 and everything like that, and the economy and everything, I don't know. I don't know what will happen. But
I just hope that I think it's a couple of times in the previous episodes now that I just hope that people appreciate the arts a lot more now when they come out of it, especially with teachers and music and so forth, because without us to help them during this time, then it'll be a different story, wouldn't it? When you think about not just music, but actors, acting, documentaries, films, and all these other things that people took for granted before. And even now, other subjects like gaming, for instance, creating games or playing games, computer games, anything to do with the arts in various different forms is, if it wasn't for us now, lockdown would be even harder. So I just hope that people appreciate the arts a lot more.
Yeah. Jonny, I mean, me and Jonny were chatting the other day about when we think gigs are going to come back. I mean, what do you think, man? Like,
it's a hard one. Like, it's such a hard, because that's what we know. Like, it's weird being like, today's Saturday. Yeah. Like when we are recording this. Mm-hmm. And to think, oh, I've got a Saturday night where I'm not gigging. Like, still 8 weeks on is weird. Like, Saturday night is primetime musician gig. Like, most of us probably playing Valerie in a bar somewhere for a wedding. Musicians will find that funny. Yeah, and it's just so normal. And it's right about now, maybe just a few weeks back, whatever, when like wedding season has started and it'll go through. And wedding season every year has been bigger. People are having them. I mean, I did a wedding near Christmas time last year. Like, so it's almost now becoming the whole year, but the prime time is like spring to summer. And so the fact that I'm not at this time now, the fact that I'm not like getting ready, putting on my, getting my clothes together, picking up my keys or my sax or whatever.
Your kilt.
Or my kilt. Who knows? Joe's done, I've done a gig with Joe and I was in my kilt. It was great.
Wow.
Great.
Shout out to the Black Cat Band. That was great. At Haggis, it was great. But yeah, you're right. It's we don't know when gigs are coming back. That's for one. Like, I've got a couple of bookings towards the end of this year, like as early as like October, and I've said yes to them. I'll do them. That's fine. But on the basis that, one, it's allowed to happen, and two, it's safe to happen. You know? Because just because something is allowed doesn't mean it's still safe. So I've said yes, but obviously, as much as it's confirmed, we don't know. We don't know.
So. No one knows at the moment, because as much as we want to get back to performing, it's going to be such a weird feeling, isn't it, to be back in that environment of a lot of people getting together and watching you and the rest of it. I remember I got an email.
That'll be phased. That'll be phased for sure.
It will,
like, it'll be smaller gigs first.
Yeah.
I think it has to be, doesn't it? Because it's just like with the schools, they're kind of slowly phasing that in now, aren't they? But I think hopefully by early next year to halfway next year, hopefully things should be, well, we're already almost halfway through this year already. But to think how quickly things have gone, we're 8 weeks locked down already.
Oh, I know, it's crazy. Like Jonny was saying, like with gigs, like my main kind of project is with that Brass, and we mainly, our main gig is festivals that we do. Like, we would have been doing Glastonbury, Boomtown. We had Magnus in the Netherlands, like, and like, they will get all rescheduled, but I guarantee you won't see, you're going to be seeing masks and handstand at festivals for the next decade. You know what I mean? I really do. It will change the perspective that we live in and the way that we have mass gatherings.
Definitely. I think that we might have to find, at least for the time being anyway, until festivals properly get together, is some kind of other format where we can either put live concerts on, maybe. Because I saw did you see what Travis Scott done, where he did a live concert on Fortnite?
Oh, cool.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And I think
cool.
And like, obviously he animated himself, very creative. Yeah. So I'm thinking, so that might be the new norm from now on, I think, at least until
That's insane.
Until like proper festivals and events start happening. But I think I got like 12 million viewers in a day or something, or the first couple of hours. It's like, Jesus.
That is the thing that I kept thinking about actually is that we can do, like, for example, if you go to a festival, even like Glastonbury or something like that, the most you're going to have watching you at a stage is probably like, I think pyramids like 40,000, something like that, you know, and that will probably get recorded. You'll get streams on iPlayer. But to do, we are in a time where we have this opportunity to perform for like maybe, you know, millions of people, which is insane. Like it does give us a new opportunity of and thousands and thousands more people that you couldn't even dream of fitting into a venue. So
that's why I wake up excited every day. I know there's other things excited, but excited every day because we're so lucky in the sense that we can wake up every day. We're so lucky to have a home and food and water at home, and at the same time we're still able to teach and we can create things at the same time. And like you said, we can be able to reach potentially thousands and millions of people in this time. It's mad, but I think like the new norm, at least for now, like we said earlier, would be to maybe look at other formats of putting on festivals and performances. Because what you're both doing with the Horny Js and Brass, and obviously with the Hip Hop Orchestra as well, there's so many things we can go down. It's amazing. But I want to talk about both of them actually. Let's talk about the Horny Js actually first, because that's how you both work together as well. How did that start?
Do you want me to go or do you want to do it, Joe?
I'll kick off to start with. I mean, me and Johnny moved in together, started living together in Battersea. Like
December 2018.
2018? Oh, December 2018.
Yeah.
And we chatted for ages about, we need to start horn section.
Even before we moved in.
Yeah, like we used to do a lot of horn projects together for a lot of artists, and we would keep coming up, and sometimes it would literally be I'd be popping to go and record trumpet, and Johnny would be there recording sax or has recorded the stem and sax, and I'd be like, that's Johnny. So it started to make sense. And I knew Jasper for uni. Shout out again, Jasper Rose.
Shout out to Jasper.
He's getting far too much publicity.
He doesn't
get
need
more than us.
But and then he kind of met up, because I think like with the Hip Orchestra, I think it's really important, and in any project that you really get on with them, and like, of course, you know, I think that's super, super important in the music world, and it's something that they don't really tell you when you're in the practice room learning your instrument.
Can I mention the exact same thing? Sorry to interrupt you. Go. Sorry. That's exactly what I mentioned to the girls from the LIGC, which is the London International Gospel Choir. That's how I met Nikki, Kat, and Lisa and Danica. Shout out to them again. On Real Singers, and I was saying the exact same thing, that working with people you get on with so well makes the performance much better, I feel. And we've worked with people in the past that have been fantastic musicians, but we haven't necessarily clicked that well. But I was also saying that the group of people that I work with now, in terms of you guys and the singers and the strings and everyone in between, I feel that this is by far the best group of people I've ever worked with. That's why I call you guys family, because it's apart from being beyond stupidly crazily talented, you're sort of like the most loving people ever. And I feel like it shows on stage as well, doesn't it? If you're able to put on a much better performance. So everyone that we work with, like you said, like from the brass section with you two, to the singers, to the strings, bass, me, DJs, anyone, it's just, we're such an amazing group of people, and it's unreal. But I'm going to stop talking now and let you carry on. So sorry.
No, you're so true, mate. It makes it so much more special. It really, really does. And you're right. You can see that when you play. But Johnny, go on, you take the baton.
Well, so we'd obviously like chatted about like having a section, and we'd kind of we'd even played with like other trombone players, not as like a section, just as someone else being hired in, you know, for other artists and stuff. And we were talking about it for ages, and then I'd never met Jasper before, but you know, Joe knew him well, and you know, bigged him up enough, and I was like, great, let's listen, Jasper, you're getting so much airtime on here, it's unbelievable.
Isn't it? Not even this.
Oh well. Anyway, I'll tell him afterwards. But yeah, we did. We kind of got together and we're like, let's do something. And we, the main kind of spark or the catalyst or whatever that made that start was this incredible open mic jam night called Vibe Village. Shout out, like Vibe Village is
massive.
I'll put out there like the best singers in the UK in one building at one time.
Wow.
Like, it is an incredible night. If you want to go check them out, it's just Vibe Village on Instagram, Vibe Bill. Just check them out. It's really good. And it was once a month. And I used to kind of like jump in on like a horn section that was there already. And I knew the guys that started it. I do this weekly jam in Knightsbridge at a pizza restaurant called Chiro's. Again, just really, really good vibes. And so it's the backing singers from this jam that started up by Village, and I really looked up to them. I think I still do. They're incredible, all of them. And so what was it? I was with the horn section there. I used to jump in, and then for some reason they'd stop going. I think they got gigs or whatever. And they put on their Instagram looking for a horn section for this month's by Village, and I messaged back being like, "I've got you. Like, I've got something." And they knew me already, so they were like, "Oh, that's amazing. That's great." And then we thought of a name, didn't we? And we're like, we're like Johnny, Joe, Jasper. There's a J theme going on here, and we thought, the J horns or triple J or
There's a lot. We researched it a lot. Like there's,
so
but the one we went with has to be the one and only Horny Js.
It's perfect.
The funny thing is, people remember that name.
Exactly.
I get two reactions. I get, "Oh, mate, that's hilarious. I love it. And then I get the other one, which is, "Really? You went with that?" And I was like, "Listen, mate, it works. We got gigs from it." People
the thing is, fact, everyone always remembers it. 100%. Whether you're right, Jody, you either have the, guys, like, when's your stand-up set? Like, can I come and see it? Kind of vibe. Or it is the, really? Like, come on. The only time I've had the really kind of vibe is when I was emailing someone for a function gig they were doing. And I remember my computer, a little thing popped up and it was like, "You've written the word horny 5 times." And I was like, and I said to Johnny, I was like, "Maybe we'll do HJ on the emails,
HJ. And it's definitely the best way to sign off, HJ team.
HT team.
Feels clean.
That is the way.
But so we started playing with Vibe Village, and then like just through that, like they sell out every month. Like, what did you say the capacity is? It's a few hundred.
Yeah, I'd probably say 150. So 175 maybe.
I don't know. But I mean, like we've had Emily Sandy up in there. We've had MNEK.
Wow.
We had Rex 32 come down.
Yeah.
Stuff like that. So we've had some decent people, and like through that, we've had a lot of people messaging us mainly on Instagram. It's the best way. Like, I'll talk about. I want to talk a bit more about Instagram, like how good it is for music later on,
definitely.
But, like we've had a few messages on Instagram, both of people just being like, "We love you guys," and then the other one being like, "Hey, I want to use you for my record," and and then you get the people that are just kind of, they're interested and you never hear back, but then you do get these people that are like, "Great, I want to use you. How much do you charge? This is, here's the music," and before you know it, you're writing, you're getting going. So that was properly the start was Vibe Village, and then we realized, okay, actually this is something we want to do, and it was just that monthly thing that kept us going. And then since then we started putting out videos at Horny Js on Instagram if you want to see all the videos.
I was gonna say, actually, I'm gonna promote all your work underneath, so like, is there any links or work? I'll like say it now and I'll leave the link below. Like, share, subscribe.
One thing about jump in about Vibe Village, it's one thing we do is, and all the musicians, because the majority of the musicians in the band play with Stormzy, and they are genuinely the tightest, highest caliber musicians that I've ever seen in a band to get to work with. They're genuinely really, really lovely people as well, which is incredible and really heartwarming to know that someone at the pinnacle of hip hop and the music industry at the moment is really lovely, and their band is lovely too, and they're not what people might think. It's really nice, but a kind of artist will come on stage and they'll shout a tune at us, and it will be Superstition or something like that. I know, first tune of the night, and they'll be like, "But I wanted this," and they'll literally use their hands. The artist will be like to the drum, and they'll be like, "No, don't."
Yeah.
The keys like, bring it. And they'll turn to us and we will just make it up on the spot. Like Johnny will sing something like, ba-da-ba-ba-ba-ba-da. And we'll do it one time round, and then the next time will be harmony.
Yeah.
And obviously, if there's a horn line on the song, we'll probably know it already.
Yeah,
definitely.
Exactly. Yeah, that's not the horn line of superstition. I wish it was. But
that's why I love those sort of improv sort of sessions, because that's how good people don't realize how good musicians are to have to be able to do that. Just say this and start off with one thing, and then everyone can join in. And it's like sometimes those on the spot sessions are the best ones, aren't they?
Yeah,
I realize. I remember we'd done that during a rehearsal. Actually, I think Johnny was doing that actually once during one of our rehearsals for Rice Festival. I think he started playing "Don't You Wanna Leave?" on piano, and everyone came in after. Like, this is sick, but but I know what you mean though, about with people just coming on the spot and watch, like, shouting out a tune. 2 seconds in, you can get it together and perform. Right, so good.
And you feel it, like
you do.
It's really, really nice. And my favorite thing, because like one of my dream gigs ever is to be in like a chat show host band or something like that. Like you see all the late night stuff in America or whatever.
Yeah.
And we do playoffs. So like it will finish and then it'll be like, again, straight in. And it reminds me of like when a guest will come in on like Fallon or Colbert or whatever. Johnny and I listen to that a lot, like Stephen Colbert and his band.
So John Baptiste.
John Baptiste. Hello.
And the Roots as well, though, and Jimmy Fallon. God, they're unreal. I tried to see them about a year or two ago when they came to the Jazz Cafe.
Yeah.
And literally tickets sold out straight away. And my cousin got to see them. Shout out to my cousin Terry, by the way. It was so annoying because when they release tickets at, say, I think 9 o'clock in the morning for a lot of events, like get online at 9 o'clock. Obviously, I was working at that time, so I couldn't exactly go on that time to get tickets. But he said, though, that within a few minutes, all tickets are sold out.
Wow.
But luckily, he got, I think, 1 or 2. But saying that as well, I remember about 2-ish years ago now, at the Royal Albert Hall, I tried getting tickets for John Williams.
Oh, wow.
And it was his first time back in the UK for 20 years at the time. And obviously, I've as we know, I'm a huge film soundtrack connoisseur. I love I'm supposed to make my. I'm not because I'm dumb. I'm stupid, but I love my soundtracks from games and films. Right, and I think obviously, as we know, John Williams is like the godfather of film soundtracks.
Oh, of course.
And I remember that I was in line online on the website for an hour and a half to get tickets, and immediately, as soon as I joined LinkedIn at 9 o'clock in the morning to try and get tickets, I think the queue was something like 3,500 people.
Oh, man.
So what I did was I left it on, obviously, going back and forth in my work whilst I was cooking breakfast and checking the website list, like going back and forth. I got into the top 50 to get tickets. Like, you're in queue position 50. Like, yes, I get tickets. Yeah. Tickets sold out. No. So I was like, literally did try to get tickets and it sold out. But I tried getting tickets on, I think, StubHub afterwards or one of these other websites. And it went from like 50 to 100 quid to 400-500 quid after. I'm thinking, John, same. I love you so much, but I can't really afford to spend that much on a ticket.
Not £500 worth, John.
I love you, but nah.
But isn't that like, if it's something so popular, like people are willing just to go through the effort of like getting up super early and like getting a ticket just to sell it for like 10 times more.
Yeah.
Like, there's something really difficult about it. Imagine if this was done like in like the 50s, you wouldn't have the internet, so you'd probably line up. You'd line up at the venue. Yeah. And, I'm not saying there'd be like 3,500. There could have been, I don't know, like who would in the 50s, 60s, who would have that caliber? Like Elvis, maybe.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's I guess the good part and the bad part, I guess, is like you can do it from home and you can just click a button and you're waiting in a queue. But still, to see that you're down to the top 50, and then find that is out of like 3,000 people is. I
was heartbroken because he was the kind of the last person I wanted to go and see live in concert. Because I've seen Hans Zimmer, I've seen Brian Tyler, I've seen a lot of other people, and obviously Hans Zimmer is my ultimate favorite. Composer. If I had to say the
and to
see also your idol on stage live, I was like this. Oh my God, he's right there. He's right there. 'Cause I don't get starstruck. I just see everyone as normal people, obviously. But to see your idol you looked up to for so many years, like he's right there on stage. I was like this the whole time. I couldn't speak, and it's by far that. I know they're two completely different events, but that and the Red Bull Culture Clash for me are the two best events I've ever been to. I mean, in terms of production, sound quality, lighting, everything, it was just unreal. And to see, like you said earlier, Joe, about being the pinnacle of hip hop or something, and it's just to see 100+ orchestra and like 100-piece choir together performing so tightly is unreal. Because I remember it started off with I remember with Hans Zimmer. When the curtain went up just for his band, I thought, yes, he's right there. It's going to be amazing. But then I got quite disappointed at the start because it just started with a band and it's like a 15-piece band, obviously all incredibly, they're all amazing musicians. But after about a couple of minutes thinking, I hope this is not going to be it for the whole concert, because I was expecting obviously a much bigger thing for Hans Zimmer. And then suddenly, like as soon as I said that, then the curtains went up behind him. And then that's when the whole orchestra and choir came up. I was like, oh, okay, that's what I'm talking about. There we go. I thinking that this can't be it just for Hans Zimmer, like a normal band. As amazing as they are, this can't be it. Then when the curtains went up, I saw like 200-piece choir and orchestra behind him, thinking, that's it. But then they started playing, obviously, tracks from Batman to Pirates of the Caribbean to, remember the Inception, Interstellar, everything. But I remember his encore piece was Time from Inception.
Oh wow, that is one of my favorite soundtracks is Inception, and they have the guitar part. I've seen Johnny Marr I've seen YouTube of him coming on stage and doing that.
Yeah, he was there as well.
Oh wow, wow.
I remember when the encore piece, obviously everyone walked off, did their bows, walked off, and everyone's gone, obviously encore, and he came back on, did his little cheers and everyone, sat at the piano, and we all knew what was going to start playing. The spotlight just went on him on the piano, and he played that first word, dung, and I was just like, oh, here we go. There's this slow build up of everyone coming in and Johnny Marr and the strings behind him, and I can't lie, man, I could cry my eyes out, man. But
yeah, man, it gives you goosebumps, like stuff like that. I think that is something I'm so fortunate about. It's like when it's weird. It's something that I can't describe. It's like when something feels right in music, and you just get this kind of goosebumpy kind of feeling. And, and you're like, that's it. Like we need to get that jar and make 10 tracks of that. But,
exactly. That's what I felt watching our videos back from Rise Festival, because that festival was
what a gig.
Oh, what a gig though!
Shout out to Danny as well,
for sure, Danny. Shout out to Danny. Thanks, and No Strings Attached. Yeah, because oh my God, that's for me. I was saying to the girls, actually, the singers. Shout out to them again, actually. I was saying that for me, that and El Dorado were my two favorite ever events. But Rise though was just next level, though, wasn't it? It's just the opportunity to perform in the Alps. And got to France and performing in the Alps, and we sounded so good. We had the best laugh ever. It sounded so tight, and oh man, I just loved it too much.
That was a really well organized gig. I felt like gigs like that can go like pretty bad. Like sometimes, like gigs like that can be an admin nightmare sometimes. Yeah. But like from getting to the airport, and when Danny joined us, like it kind of worked like clockwork. Really, like. We got to France and we met the guys that were taking us to the festival. We got in the cars, got to the hotel, and everything was just kind of run like clockwork. And I remember, I still remember, like we got there in nighttime, so we didn't really get to appreciate the scenery. Yeah. And then when Joe and I were sharing a hotel room, after we made love, obviously.
Netflix and chill.
Oh, it's out again.
You're the real Horny Js.
Okay. Absolutely. Hey, there you go. That was kind of the pun I was getting to, but you beat me to it. No, but when we woke up in the morning, that sounds fun. When we woke up in the morning, like we pulled back the curtains and like it just hit you. The beauty of the Alps just hit you. And
I remember Lisa was saying the exact same thing actually, like the curtains, because like you said, like we couldn't really see it properly at night.
It was dark, yeah.
And me and Danny said it was dark, yeah. And me and Danny did the exact same thing as well, because when we opened the curtain to like try to look at the view, I couldn't see it at first, obviously, but Danny goes, "Oh my God, look at the mountain, look at the mountain." I went, "What mountain?" She goes, "Over there."
Yeah.
Went, "Oh my God, is that mountains?" And that morning, like you said, like we opened the curtains and it's all these stunning snow-covered mountains, and it was just the best.
But it's funny because it's like one of the only times in my life, and this made me really think at the time. I was like, the amount of times that I see something good and I just automatically do this.
Yeah.
Like, that is phone up to the screen there for people listening by audio. My
phone up, using camera. But I took like a good amount of time just to like look at it and go, this is insane. Yeah, I took some pictures afterwards for sure. After I'd taken it, but
we had a bit of a photo shoot. Yeah,
absolutely, we did. But it was absolutely stunning. But that gig itself, like we had the time to like go and like ski and snowboard. I bruised my rib before the gig. That's the one thing. I was on the snowboard and I definitely fell over.
Jonny was like, day one, I remember like, yeah, I want to go skiing. I've never skied before.
Yeah,
I was like, me and Christina, shout out Christina cello, and we were like, yeah, we're gonna try it. We started on the baby slope. Which I was very, very happy just to stay there the whole day.
Yeah, man.
So he was like, yeah, man. Yeah, snowboarding. Yeah, I used to do it. Yeah. And then about 2 hours later,
good. Turns out I wasn't.
No, I was in the bar. I had my drink. I was there. It's like, what? Is that right? But thankfully, all good. And I remember actually talking of like mishaps, things like that. During the gig, literally, we're about to go on stage, and the stage manager comes up to all of us. I don't know if you remember this, guys.
Yeah, the wind.
The wind,
yeah, the wind, yeah.
So I was like, hey guys, like, if anything happens, Big Ben, I think it was Big Ben or Big Tom, he was the guy on the sound halfway down where the audience were. And he said, if he calls it, the gig finishes you off, because like we've had winds of 70 miles an hour. And it was bad.
The
cap was 80, I believe.
The cap was 80, yeah.
But absolutely insane. One of the best, and like massive shout out to Rise Festival, because they truly know how to treat artists. And like I've done a lot of festivals, and that is one of the, to put us up, they didn't have to put us up in that hotel. We didn't have to give us a day extra to chill, and like with the flying and everything and moving about, and they were insane. They did an absolutely incredible job.
Really cool.
And like,
that's
Georgia,
so true.
You should like link some of the videos from the Rise Festival on this.
Yeah, definitely for sure.
There's points like Joe and I are like the horns. We're doing like some dances and stuff. And like nobody knew this, but like because I'd bruised my rib on the slopes, like I don't take drugs ever. Right? I was heavily on paracetamol.
Yeah. I remember I mentioned actually the last
recommended amount.
You recommended that. I can't lie. I said in the last episode that when you mentioned that you fell over and you hurt your ribs, that I can't lie, I got really scared. Obviously for your health, obviously. And if you were to be able to form, thinking, please not now.
I know it's the worst
here. Like we've worked so hard to get here. Now, please, I wish. Hopefully, you hadn't hurt yourself bad enough to not perform.
Do you know what? Adrenaline, and obviously the right amount of painkillers was absolutely fine. And I managed. I forgot I was in pain, or at least I forgot I hurt myself.
Yeah.
Right until even the party after, like I didn't. I forgot, because you have that high, and then there's like when you finish it's because you're with the same people that you still talk about the gig. You're chatting about the best parts, like stuff like when I know we're doing the Christmas stuff, and I thought the Christmas stuff was cool, but like the Destiny's Child stuff went down so well.
It did.
Like people were dancing, people were loving it. So I don't know. It was right until like I got to the hotel that night when I was like, oh yeah, I'm still really sorry.
I remember we got back at like, those kind of nights you just can't really sleep, but it was like 3 a.m. or something. Yeah. And me, you, and Mem and Christina were playing like Heads Up or something in the bedroom because we couldn't sleep. And I remember you saying like it really hurt. Like
I got so worried about you, by the way, man, because I got really panicky thinking we worked hard to get here, and you've hurt yourself thinking, like, obviously after the painkiller gave you, I was like, no one, because I was like, because that's one of the stresses I had, was making sure that everyone's obviously healthy and okay and safe and know what they're doing. And when I heard you hurt yourself, I was thinking, oh man. Obviously, first of all, is are you okay? Have you broken anything?
Yeah, of course.
But and then thinking, can you perform still? Because obviously that was my second worry was, can you still perform? And I remember giving the paracetamol and he popped them back. Well,
I did a tester.
Yeah,
I did a few testers. Like I went into the hotel room and just like tried to play some stuff, and I was like, do you know what?
Yeah, I remember.
Yeah.
It was fine. It was all good.
Fine.
Yeah,
which is and I think I was going to ask a question like, have you ever had like injuries before gigs or even during gigs, like like, how have they affected the performance going forward?
Well, I'll let Joe go first. Sorry.
Oh, that's all right. I remember we were playing a festival called Fling Festival with DB, and before the festival, we were just a bit bored, and there were loads of the only things you could find at a festival around there is basically water, backstage kind of all their cases, and maybe like a tech spec, something like that. So we were throwing these water bottles around in a big group, and there was maybe like 8 or 9 of us, and we started then adding more water bottles in because it was very easy. Just one water bottle, 8 people. Then it was like 2 water bottles. Then it got to 3 water bottles. And just context here, DB is at that day we probably had 12 people. We're all in on like mid-20s. We're all like boys, and we were just more and more water bottles. And then eventually, I saw this water bottle flying towards me one way and another one flying to the other way, and both of them hit me right in the mouth.
No.
And it was really bad. And I remember my lips swollen up big, like as if I had Botox in my lips. And it was bad.
What you do, right?
Yeah, all the time. Yeah, great.
Yeah. Nice.
And I remember Jake Keefe, who plays sax, shout out to him from DB. And he said to me, "Oh, Joe, I remember Miles Davis saying, that if your lips are bigger, you play higher, and then someone else went, oh yeah, like Dizzy Gillespie said all the time, mate, what are you chatting about? You're fine. And somehow it was absolutely fine, and it was all
brilliant.
But that is my injury story. But Georgio,
it shows it just really highlights Giorgio's caring nature, that one, didn't it?
I did, because
he didn't go, oh, you'll be fine, mate. He actually cared about
it.
Yeah, so true.
I'm not the dad of the group.
Nah, it's cool.
It's like I don't drink, I don't club, I don't go out. I want to make sure that everyone else is safe apart from me. I remember, before I tell my little story, it's not as good as your ones, but I remember during Rise, actually, the day before, the day of the event itself, where I'm always asking, like, is everyone okay? Is everyone cool? If everyone had a good time? Are you all relaxed? You ready? And Heather goes, shout out to Heather, by the way, another amazing singer who joined us. She actually goes, gee, you need to fucking relax, man. Just relax. Have a good time and chill. Like, I can't. I'm the type of person that wants to make sure that everything is cool and in place and everyone's ready. And obviously, I believe in everyone. Someone put off, you're all like ridiculously talented. So I had no worries at all. But at the same time, because we've worked so hard, I want to make sure that we had an amazing event, and it was beyond amazing, wasn't it? It's just so good.
Yeah.
It was by far easily one of the best events we've ever done, by far. But talk about injuries, though. I had to stop playing for a month, which is the longest I've ever stopped playing because I broke my thumb. Yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, because I was at the gym, and I was doing quite heavy weights with dumbbells. I was doing 22-kilo dumbbells, like bicep curls, and someone lifted a weight behind me. This was years ago when I was much bigger, but I'm not trying to show off. I did some next level weight.
Former cue.
That way.
There it is.
For those just listening on audio, Giorgio is currently showing us where the beach is.
Yeah,
and I'm gonna go. Pack my bags.
Pack my bags. But I was doing my weights, and then someone lifted a weight
between my toes.
I want to be on the beach right now. If I can't change my background on my thing, it doesn't work on my laptop. But talk about injuries though. Like I brought my thumb because someone lifted a weight behind me. So what happened was I didn't realize obviously left it behind me. They dropped it behind me. As I was walking backwards, I tripped and I dropped the dumbbell on my thumb.
Wow.
Like literally the whole weight, like right on the knuckle of my my thumb, and well, not the thumb, right the joint, sorry, right there, and. Yeah. I thought nothing of it. It was stinging a bit, but I thought nothing of it. So I carried on working out. And it wasn't until a few hours later where my thumb was like a Looney Tunes character. It literally went up like that. It's like this, like a mountain. And I couldn't move it. My thumb was like this for a month.
Wow.
So I had to like practice piano with like 4 fingers like this without my thumb. So
wow.
Yeah, but now luckily it's all good. It's fine. But
yeah,
stopping something.
It's interesting how much we take our hands for granted.
Exactly.
My mum, who's an incredible piano player, she's always saying, like, take care of your hands, like you know, and like you can even insure your hands, insure your fingers.
Yeah,
you have to.
Like you can do that. Like, it's funny. I've said that before. People have laughed at me, like, no, you can't. I'm like, yes,
you
anything
can.
you can think of belongs to you. You can insure.
Yeah.
But like, you know, it's something that as musicians we need our, you know, if you're a singer, that your voice is your most important thing. Musicians, like especially trumpet, sax, you know, brass, like we need our mouths, we need our hands. You know?
Of course.
Massively.
So it's super important that we kind of take care of ourselves. And it's funny because like the worst injury stories I've ever heard is of people before gigs.
Yeah,
like, it's just ridiculous.
I tell you what though, one story, and this wasn't me, but this is probably the worst injury I've seen mid-gig, during a gig on stage.
Oh, I know it's in. Yeah.
Is that we were, this is going to sound like a massive clang, but we were playing Glastonbury, opening the Truth stage on Thursday, which is insane. Like 6,500 people. All you can see is just heads. Like it's just crazy. And Michael, shout out, who runs DB pretty much. We all do our own thing, but he is like the leader, and he's insane at it. He's really, really good. And halfway through the gig, he got up on a big speaker. He plays the sousaphone, which kind of goes around him, but he has about 15, 16 pedals to go with it. So it sounds and he slipped and cut his leg. Like, wide open, like 2 big gashes. And I'll send you a picture, Joy, so people can see it. But it was bad. I mean, but during the gig, he didn't play a note wrong because there was a GoPro and there's a footage of him slipping, hitting his leg, and then grabbing his instrument and putting it back onto his face and continuing.
Oh my God. I think I remember now that you're telling me this story and the bottle incident as well. I remember you telling me this now.
Oh yeah.
Mad. But I want to see the picture. I'm not sure if I saw I can't remember if I saw the picture or not. I think you did show me, but you showed me the picture after. I want to see what it's like now.
Yeah, man. the picture I sent is literally like in the tent after the gig, and it's like his like 2 tiny little bits of masking tape just over the cuts. But battle scars.
Yeah, battle scars for sure. I remember Kat was saying actually in the last episode where this just goes to show how good we are at adapting to different situations, because people don't always realize that a lot of things can go wrong on stage. Whether like I said, you could slip, you could fall over, you could get caught on something. Or I've seen videos of like the biggest superstars like Beyonce and Pink. They like how they get their hair cut in fans, or I saw a video of Beyonce. You might have probably seen it where Beyonce gets her hair cut in a fan and she's still singing while she's like trying to untangle her hair. But I saw another one with Pink where she's kind of on she kind of got like a sort of like a body casing on with wiring to help flip around.
Oh,
cool.
Yeah.
And then it kind of sends her flying into the crowd, and she crashes into like the guarding in front of the audience. And there's this camera footage of a fan. She's like filming, and whilst Pink's flying into the guardrail, she's going, "No, stop!" And then she crashes, and she's like, "Oh, no, shit, no!" And she's obviously holding her ribs, her chest. And she obviously got really emotional. She's like, "I'm so sorry about this. I'm so sorry," and she almost started crying. But it's things like this, I don't blame her, because for things like that, for such a big performance, we go flying into the audience, you hurt yourself so bad.
Yeah,
it's mad. But I remember like during Rise, actually, we were saying actually people don't always realize this, where a couple of the guys had other lyrics or the music in front of them as paper, and it was flying around everywhere.
The wind. They're like
the wind.
That I think the big thing, the number one thing, if someone wants like a piece of advice, if anyone's listening to this thinking, oh, this sounds really cool, I'd love to do this.
Yeah.
It's just adapt. I think that is the biggest thing as a musician, is you often turn up to a gig, and like we were saying earlier with teaching as well, you'll turn up and something will be different to what you expected.
Mm-hmm.
Either through the stage will be smaller than you think it was, they don't have the equipment that you thought it was. Now you can just be like, oh, well, that wasn't what it was, and I'll see you in a bit. But like, you won't get booked again, and you won't further your career. But like, if you adapt and go, oh man, that's all good, like, don't worry about it, like, it happens, let's make the best of it.
Yeah, exactly.
People will really appreciate that, and that's how I think you get to something like this. So yeah,
definitely. That's really good advice, because a lot of people don't realize that, do they? That being able to adapt to any kind of situation makes you that more professional, and it sticks in people's memory, like you said. So that is really good advice. Just being professional, doing what you can to make the best of a potentially bad situation, and just taking it from there. Because we've done bits before in the past where things haven't gone quite right, but we've adapted to it. But it's like you said, it's just doing the best with what you can, really. And things don't always go to plan, but it's just how you deal with those situations where it makes it much better. So that's really good advice. And what was the other one I said? It's just obviously not knowing your material well enough as well, that just in case something does go wrong, where you can, at least I know it by memory now. So I might not need my tablet for the music or my sheets, just in case. I can, at least, if I don't know it well enough, I can maybe improvise certain sections. And I think as long as you're kind of prepared in different ways, then that's good. But I also mentioned actually in the last episode with the girls where it's just taking a moment after the shows, maybe just to chat to the audience or people who will take the time to come up to you, and not being a diva about things, because as well as adapting and being cool with any situation, it's just taking an extra moment just to talk to people afterwards and take that extra bit of time just to get to know them as well, and who they are and what they do, because sometimes people might be going through certain personal situations, and they've still come out to see maybe like you being one of or the main act of the night, and just chatting to anyone and making their days that bit better because of your performance makes things so much better as well. And even like texting about, like you said, Jonny, about how important Instagram is, because we're always getting DMs as well, like, or mentions from people saying, oh, you guys are so good, you're amazing, and just even like a little text back saying, oh, thank you so much, it means a lot. And taking it from there. And also at the same time, you might not know who they are or what their positions might be, whether it's a big company or a smaller company or whatever it might be, and they might invite you for another event in the future, saying, oh, I run this event, or I've got a wedding in a few months, can you do this, or a birthday or things. So just taking an extra bit of time just to get to know people helps in so many things. And that's another big thing about it's networking, isn't it, as well, obviously.
You're absolutely right. I mean, so like all those things you just said, like in terms of like gigs not always going as planned, and using Instagram and stuff, all these things, they're important for us, but they're also just as important for, as you were talking about, like your heroes in music. So talking about Hans Zimmer and stuff. I'm unfortunate. I'll never be able to meet my music hero, John Coltrane, because he's no longer with us. But I did get close to it. I saw his son play.
Oh, did you?
Coltrane, and he came. I studied Leeds College of Music. He came to Leeds, and I was like, I've got to get a ticket because this is as close I'm going to get to seeing John Coltrane himself. So, and that was the most incredible gig. But again, like, I got to chat to them after, and it was the whole band. And no doubt, like, you never notice it because they're the best of the best. But like, I'm sure, like, they'll do loads of gigs where things haven't gone as planned, but suddenly the bass player will just start playing something, being like, we gotta sort the situation out, guys, and the drummer will be like, okay, cool, let's do it. And it's and I think the skill is when something goes wrong and you mask that to make it look like it was absolutely planned. It's a really hard thing to achieve, but like, I think especially like with us in the Horny Js, Joe, like, the more you play with each other, the easier it is to do that. Like, the easier it is to kind of mask a situation that hasn't gone right. Another gig I did, and not that anything went wrong, but like a gig that I did that I didn't go in blind. I knew all the songs, but I didn't know how it was going to go. I'm going to shout out, but I had the most amazing opportunity last year to play with Stevie Wonder's band.
No way.
There we go.
There we go. Wow. Yes. There we go.
Now, the key word that I'm saying here is band. Stevie Wonder's band.
Yeah.
Because Stevie came to play with his band from the States at Hyde Park. And that was his only gig that he was going to do. But his band were doing other things too. So his band, I got a call. Shout out Patrick Allen. He's a great guy. He called me up at like half midnight one day. And he's like, called me up. And I was like, Patrick, hey, it's half midnight. And he said this line, which I couldn't argue with. He went, so what? You're a musician. And I was like, yeah, fair enough. I should be up at 12:30. Fair enough, yeah. You know, because I was going to go to bed. He's like, why you go to bed? It's only 12:30 kind of thing. But anyway, it was quite funny. And he said, how'd you like to play with Stevie Wonder's band? And I was like, yes, I would want to.
Nah, you know, I'm washing my hair, mate.
No, I'm all right, of course.
Anyway, and he told me the songs, and he's like, do you know these tunes? And I was like, yeah, I do actually know these tunes. There was one that I didn't know so well, so I learned it. And I got up, and like there were, you know, I was part of a horn section of people that kind of jumped up, and it was the most amazing thing. So Stevie wasn't actually at the event; it was his sax player doing it. That's why I said band, his band. So there's a whole band were there, but Stevie was probably asleep in a hotel room somewhere. So I almost got to play with Stevie Wonder, who's again another absolute hero of mine.
Same.
So, which is incredible. So his whole band I was playing with, which was amazing. But there were times where, like, you know, the whole band knew what were happening, but I wasn't the only person that sat in that wasn't in the band. I was part of 3 sax players and a trumpet player that were there. Again, like me, were just called up being like, hey, do you want to just jump in the horn section kind of thing? So in terms of things going wrong on the band's part, they probably played everything absolutely perfectly. But like for us, it was a kind of like, we need to see what they're doing and mask the problem of us not knowing what's going on and just kind of keep that going. So I think everyone, even like the best of the best, have those times when, like, you've got to mask a problem that's going on stage.
Of course.
And, you know, it might not be as dramatic as Pink falling, like, as you said, falling into the crowd, but you know, even like the Beyonce getting her hair cut, you know, caught in the fan, like, she's still putting on that performance, which is incredible, and it's such a skill. So that's one thing I just wanted to say about that. But the other one was like Instagram, and how, again, even the greats still need to use that. They all use it.
Yeah, they have to.
Yeah. Best of the best. And some people, you know, will be like, no, I'm not going to use Instagram. I'd rather not be in social media, which is highly admirable because it's a real time waster sometimes. But Instagram has been the greatest source of my gigs in the last, give or take, 2 years. You know, and that's not just because, and I'm not just talking about like through your DMs or anything like that. I'm talking about like people see you on Instagram, and then, or you might meet somewhere or whatever, and might message you on Facebook or whatever. But it's social media, but Instagram being like the main hub for that. You put all your pictures and your videos up there. It's just something that has kind of really hit home to me, how much I need to properly invest time into that, or like not too much time that it takes over my life, but enough time that it kind of promotes me. I remember sitting down with a friend of mine called Matt Jones, who he did the orchestration for like John Legend's Christmas album.
Oh wow!
He did an album from by an amazing artist called No Name. Check out No Name; she's incredible.
Oh yeah,
I heard No Name. Yeah, Franklin. He's worked with Jesse J, maybe. Anyway, he's done a lot of amazing things. I met him at a gig. Incredible piano player and conductor. So he runs his own orchestra. And when we're going to dinner with him, he's from Chicago, but he came over to London. I'm going to dinner with him in Clapham Junction, and I was like, mate, like, you're doing so well. Like, where are you getting all these gigs? He just turned his phone around and was like, Instagram. And I was like, whoa, right, okay, this is real. So
it's so true.
If you want to get decent gigs, Instagram
definitely
is
the way forward. Because you got to think of yourself as a business, don't you? If you're not putting any kind of clips or work out there, then it's that bit harder to get that work that you need. So especially what you do with the Horny Js and obviously that brass as well, and the orchestra, it's perfectly set up for Instagram, isn't it? Like these sometimes like short, quick clips of like doing people's favorite tracks, but doing it in various different ways. Thinking, oh, wow, you guys are amazing. Let's get them for these events. And you're basically selling yourself all the time, aren't you? Like, hey, look at this track, look at this one. So And like you said, it's highly admirable that people don't use it sometimes. But if you do want to get the extra work and showcase your work that deserves to be seen, then Instagram is the way forward.
Yeah,
it's definitely a helpful tool. Yeah.
You're spot on. Like, I think I remember like a very long time ago where I had Instagram. Like, my handle is just at Joe Prescott, and it's not like underscore or like Joe Prescott 111 or like. I was so pleased I got that at Joe Prescott, and I think you're right. It's incredibly admirable. It really is. But I think kind of sadly now you have to use Instagram to promote yourself, and that is almost. I mean, people use that now as a website, as as equivalent to that. I mean, one thing that I've been meaning to do for ages, and literally I'm talking maybe like a year and a half. I've just been so busy, is to do a website and to do a logo and to get all that side done and get business cards and all this. And
I know the amount of weekends that he's like, I'm going to work on a website. I'm going to work on a website, Johnny. And I'm like, are you really? Are you really going to work on your website?
Yeah. Yeah, it will be like me. It will be like a bar at the top. It will be a line that is changed to a different color.
One line of code.
Yeah, that is it. But thankfully, this time with COVID has allowed, and I think for many musicians, that kind of businessy side, because it's what it is really. It's like Instagram now. You can go into Instagram business and everything like that. It's allowed, I'd say, the majority of musicians to kind of update their self a little bit, and like my website's pretty much done now. I've got a tiny bit left to do. The logo's done. Business cards, like Brilliant. Yeah, I know. It's only taken a pandemic for it to happen. It's fine.
A quick one actually. Do you both use Fiverr for anything?
My girlfriend does. I need an account. She's got. Ruth has got an amazing amount of work on Fiverr. She just got something. She did a voiceover. She's an actress and voiceover artist. She's doing voiceover for.
Nice.
But she uses it, and she's getting some really good work from it.
Brilliant.
So it can be a really good tool.
Definitely. Because Fiverr is, I use Fiverr for the logo for the podcast actually, and a couple of other little bits. But I was thinking, if you don't have time for doing your own website, maybe you can send it off to Fiverr for someone to do.
Yeah, I've definitely heard of it. Like, I think something like that for freelancers is incredibly important to have that platform. It's something that, I mean, sadly, as we've seen now with the government, I feel like freelancers are sometimes the bottom of the pile, especially with all the support we're getting financially from the government. I think we are. That kind of confirms it. But I think more things like that, the better. Like, I know Encore. I had a lot of gigs from Encore when I first started, which is basically like Facebook, but for musicians. And I know, Johnny, is the guy who runs it.
My friend started that.
Yeah.
I know the
guy. I know a guy.
He's doing even during the pandemic. James McCullough. He's doing incredible stuff at the moment during COVID. Like doing really well. I was actually just chatting about it yesterday. But it's a really, really cool tool, and I probably need to take some more time on it, like putting things up there. But it's kind of like you're absolutely right, spot on. Like, it's Facebook for musicians.
Yeah, and one thing that I was thinking about when I was listening to you guys is, I think the relationship between musicians and audience, and even musician to musician on a stage, will change dramatically now. I think people will be a lot more, like you say, George, you were saying about how to it's really important to keep that contact, to message back on socials, and to chat to them afterwards. And it really, really is to increase your brand as such.
Yeah.
And I think people will be doing that even more. People will appreciate, hopefully, like music and everything like that even more when this is all over.
Definitely. Because like we said earlier, like, people, you got to realize that and I keep repeating myself, I'm sorry, but you got to kind of look at yourself as a business as well, because literally, whatever you're doing, you're kind of selling your brand, aren't you? And whether you put in a great performance, but you like ignore people afterwards, or vice versa, whatever it might be, whatever you do, from the minute you get there to the minute you leave, you've got to be professional. I feel you've got to be put on that professional front the whole way through, whether it's when you get there, talk to everyone and be cool with everyone and be organized, and like we said earlier about adapting to different situations, and at least that we've left a kind of lasting impression on someone, thinking, oh, those guys were so safe, those guys were so lovely, and they're so brilliant at what they do. Let's get them for these events, and it can open up so many more doors.
Exactly.
Being nice and being an actual human being, like goes so much further than a lot of people think. I don't know. Yeah. Some people think that you've got to have this sort of persona and of being kind of like not a diva, but like just being harsh and wanting things a certain way. Yeah. And sometimes that is helpful. Sometimes that gets work done. Fine. But if you looking to make, to get gigs, and people are going to take the people they get on with more over. If I had two people, someone that I get on with really well, who's a decent musician, someone that I find really difficult, but is like one of the best musicians I've ever met in my life. I'm picking the decent musician,
of course,
the fairly decent musician that I get on every day of the week, because I'd rather be on a stage with someone I enjoyed being with,
of course,
than someone who may be incredible but might be a bit difficult to get on with.
Of course,
I'd take the easier person to get on with.
Definitely, because like what I was saying earlier, that you're able to put on a better performance, aren't you, with the people you love getting on with, and it does show as well, doesn't it? That there's not that kind of awkwardness that this might cause. Like with all of us, everyone can tell that how close we are, not just on stage but outside the stage as well. I can see like we're having fun on stage together, put on a much better performance. And I'm with you on that. I'd rather pick the person I get on with rather than the incredible musician, because like things would be so much better that way. Yeah,
and like from an audience perspective, I was just trying to think back from when I used to go and see gigs when I was at school, when I was like growing up, and the dream is for you and your mates to be in a band playing, all around the world like that. And that's what the audience are thinking. If the audience are thinking, oh, they look like they're all mates, they're all getting on, like, this is incredible, it brings that more. And I feel like you can notice it. It's quite easy to see. I think more because we're musicians, and me and Jonny often be like, oh, that guy, that's a dep or whatever. We can see it, but like probably the numbers can't. But I think it's super important. Really, really
definitely.
important.
Definitely. What is there anything else you got planned for after everything? Hopefully, when everything comes down, is there anything you got planned for the future in terms of Horny Js?
Just a world tour with Justin Timberlake.
Yay, JT, justified.
Nah, I'm only joking. But honestly, Justin, like,
if listening,
yeah, I mean, you guys. No, I don't know. Like, we're still wanting to put out videos in this time anyway. Like, we started it before COVID was a thing. We started putting out videos anyway. So like, we're just gonna, I think we'll just keep putting out things, and then hopefully, like, gigs will start happening. We we've had some inquiries and things like that on Instagram and stuff of things that are like not yet confirmed, so I don't want to like say anything, but it's something that we plan to do for the foreseeable future, just to I don't know, it's just nice to have a section, because I find that, I don't know if it's the same with you, Joe, but getting gigs before we had the section was like, saying, oh, Jonny, I want you for sax, I need to find a trumpet and a trombone player though, and it'd be a longer process for them. Whereas now that we've actually got this section, they can just come to us and be like, hey, you've got a section, or have you got a section in mind, or whatever. We've got something like a product that we can sell as a 3-piece, instead of them having to go and individually find 3 people. Because the downfall of that is you might have 3 people that never played together before, might not vibe together, might not even get on. Whereas they know that the 3 of us work professionally together, and hopefully they can see from our videos and stuff that we get, that we're mates. That includes you too, Jasper. Don't worry. And just 3 that we're gonna get the job done and do it well.
Yeah.
So the peace of mind of just, and that's the benefit of hiring any section. Doesn't matter, it doesn't have to be a horn section. It could be a string quartet. It could be a band, the whole band itself. It's an easy process for the client, because they're just having to go to one person directly instead of 3 or 4 or however many people in the section. And if they've done their research enough, whether that's Instagram or our website, they know what they're going to get, because our content's out there. So
definitely. To
answer your question more directly, we're probably just going to put out more videos and just hopefully get some more gigs.
Nice.
Yeah.
Really.
I think the one thing that really got me, we just put out this video, which I was saying to Jonny a couple of days ago, I think is our strongest, well, the one I enjoyed the most definitely was just Tints, Addison Pack. Johnny, we wrote like so horns over the top. So like really enjoyed doing it. But the first line is, I don't want to get cooped up. I don't want to stay at home. Is it, Johnny?
I'm feeling kind of cooped up. Trying to get some fresh air.
And that really, like, we filmed that and recorded that. Sorry, I remember because we used the Roundhouse as a studio, which is on their credible under 25 scheme.
Yeah, it's amazing there.
Oh, insane!
Right.
And
it's a shame that COVID's happening now.
On the way, yeah, I know. Same. My birthday, right? But on the tube on the way, I remember seeing some people with a mask and people were coughing. And this was you talking start of Feb, and we joked to each other. We said, "Oh, coronavirus," like little joke, like that's not going to be a big thing. That's not going to make you happen. So it was quite moving in a way that the song we were going to upload had this extra meaning that we didn't know. But the videos do super well for social stuff like that. But one thing we'd love to do, and we chatted about it, is to get a DJ involved. Is to have a package where, because a lot of kind of corporate events and stuff like that have DJ and horns, or and we've got some people in mind. Like we haven't got anything confirmed yet, so it's all in talks and stuff. But to have a kind of DJ, even maybe percussion and horns. Like, for example, there's a great little combo happening at the moment with Luke Burr and Paul Castle Jr. And insane. Two guys, Luke Burr, incredible singer that both John and I know. So down to earth as well. Lovely guy. His new single's just come out, so go and check that out. It's on New Music Friday and Spotify. Like,
it looks good
for that. Nice. And this Paul, who I haven't met, but is Insta.
Great sax player.
Is great. If you want to see an Instagram that is how business-wise, how to be running it, check out either of those. And Luke will make it big, I think. Well, he is making it big now, New Music Friday.
It's been on Love Island and stuff, so it's kind of cool.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
But one thing really important to say, because I feel like I might be wrapping up soon, but it's a massive shout out to Georgio for everything he did for the orchestra. It's one of the loveliest people, honestly.
Thank you.
And what you do for all of us is, you're right, you make it a family and you do that. It honestly, it's insane what you do, and the whole project of Hip Hop Orchestra is a real special one for both of us. So thank you.
Honestly, though, like, you can't gloss over it. Like, definitely one of the nicest people in the music industry, which is honestly it's a difficult quality to come by, like, especially someone running a band in the music industry, like it can, with admin and organization and stuff, it can be really easy to just become a bit difficult, honestly. But no, you stayed super friendly, super on it. You had that nice balance, which is great. I remember Joe calling me up. I'd gone to Ruth, my girlfriend's place in York, for a weekend. Shout out to Ruth, why not?
Shout out to Ruth.
I don't know, we were just hanging out and I got a call from Joe, and Joe was like, how would you like to play in the Alps? I was like,
that's all right.
I was like, yeah, I would. He was like, because I remember when Joe went to the El Dorado with you guys, and he came back and he was like, oh, it was really cool, really enjoyed it. Like, he was proper singing the praises. And I was like,
yeah, thank you.
Do you want a sax player? Like, turns out you did, which is amazing. But like, I remember just, from the rehearsals, like, really like feeling at home as soon as I got in there. And it was really nice. I remember really enjoying it. And you've done really well. And I feel like once life gets back to normal, if we can do gigs again,
we definitely will
to continue stuff. And like, I think we really showed ourselves to be really good at the Rise Festival.
Definitely, because the feedback we got the feedback we got from Rise was amazing. Literally, the amount of mentions we were getting, texts. Daniel was praising us, Hold On No Strings was about praising us. Guys, you guys were like ridiculous. You guys were so good. I've seen like videos from the audience as well, actually dancing to all their tunes.
Yeah.
There was that.
It's a lovely feeling, isn't it?
Yes, it's the best. I saw on the Vice Festival Instagram page, because they like literally update their Instagram all the time. on a couple of their stories where there was this. Did you see that dance crew that was there?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
They call it a dinosaur crew. I can't remember exactly what they're called. I can't remember what they're called, but they.
It's a cool bunch, man. They're cool.
Yeah, they're so cool. And on Vice Festival, they were dancing to the track in like a sort of choreographed way. And it's like a freestyle dancing to us. She's like, that's us in the background.
We're playing the music.
Yeah, it's like sick. It's wicked. But I remember they loved us. That everyone loved us. And it's that kind of vibe where we get so excited. It's the best feeling ever, isn't it?
Yeah.
But honestly, you can't beat it at all. But I feel the same way about you guys. It's like, work with you guys is the best feeling ever. I love these guys ever. Stupidly talented, and that's what I strive for, is getting that sort of family vibe within the orchestra. That you could be the most talented singer or musician, but if we don't really vibe that well, this could be different. But I've said it a few times now that I feel like us as a whole, and this is the best group of people I've ever worked with in terms of both talent and personality, because we gel so well in terms of how we get on. We vibe so well. We have love. We get on really well, and at the same time, everyone's so stupidly talented. So I can't praise you enough. So thank you.
Loving every minute of it.
Me too.
Yeah, same, man.
Oh man! But if there's anything else you want to promote before we go, just let me know. Anything else?
Get on the Horny Js train, man.
Yeah,
definitely.
Just join it, man. It doesn't cost much to buy a ticket.
No, definitely. I'll leave links all below.
It's a free ride. Just
definitely check out the Horny Js. Horny Js.
I'd say just try and support unsigned artists.
Yes.
A lot of people are putting out new music at the moment. Shout out to a band called Bear Jams, who've just put a new album out. Insane, really, really good album. And I think it's really brave to put an album out. I know Tom Misch and Yusuf have done the What Kind of Music kind of album as well, which is insane. And it's so important, I think, to, there's a lot on Spotify. There's the COVID-19 Artist Relief Fund and stuff like that to support art and support music now. And we will only benefit from that when we're through this. So,
definitely. I'll shout out to them. All right, and that's the end of episode 10. That's all with the Horny Js. All right.
Nice.
Peace, everyone. Take care, everyone. Peace.
Mate,
Bye.
There you go.